All right, that time wasn't my fault. Okay, that time wasn't my fault. I was literally on the phone, and then power went the fuck out for the whole neighborhood. For the whole neighborhood, power went out. So obviously, you had to wait for internet to come back online, all that good stuff. But for anybody that's returning, what happened? I was on the phone with my buddy Mikey, who's building a new system, and we were just talking specs. It's a pretty solid build for under 1200. I told him that's a good build. I mean, can't go wrong. Matter of fact, what's PC? I want to check something real quick. Let's go to PC part picker, add CPU, 7700. Yeah, 8 core, 16 threads. I mean, you could get a 90, what is it, 9700? Yeah, but that's 294. Yeah, that's a pretty solid build. Pretty solid build. I can't get a stable stream to save my fucking life, bro. One week it's Comcast. The other week my system just randomly restarts, which I did do that BIOS update, by the way. Because something with Windows 11 that others have reported as well definitely is causing issues. And then my power just straight up goes out for the whole house. So I can't get you guys a stable Saturday live stream, unfortunately. This is what happens when you live in the hood. Unfortunately. So honestly, it probably should just end it there and just left it, but I'll continue going. So BlackRock put a lot of Bitcoin into Coinbase Prime. 383 billion, almost 384 billion in Coinbase Prime, as spotted by the on-chain tracking platform Look On-Chain. The asset manager also moved about 122 million worth of Ethereum. BlackRock's reoccurring Bitcoin transfers stir concern. Notably, Coinbase Prime handles crypto assets from institutional investors, either for trading or storage. Hence, the large volume of Bitcoin that BlackRock has been depositing on the Coinbase has triggered sell-off speculations. Some market participants are wondering if the largest asset manager is aware of the development that retail traders have yet to catch on to. They assume BlackRock is preparing to dump a sizable amount of flagship crypto asset onto the market. And you can see the picture of it right here. I think it's storage. Isn't iBid or BlackRock working with Coinbase for storage? So 300 Bitcoin, 300 Bitcoin, 300 Bitcoin, 300 Bitcoin, 195.55 Bitcoin, 10K Bitcoin, 10K Bitcoin, 10K Bitcoin, 1.754K Bitcoin. Or excuse me, that's Ethereum. So 10K Ethereum, 10K Ethereum, 10K Ethereum. And these are like not the value in money, but like how much of the coins they have. That's quite a bit. But I'm not sure if that's a sell-off. It may have triggered. BlackRock has not made any sell move yet, and the deposits on Coinbase Prime might be a custodial or operational move. That's what I think it is. Asset managers have been known to move Bitcoin for custody, audits, or liquidity management. Although no specific action has been taken with regards to Bitcoin move, market participants are keenly monitoring developments such as large transfer for BlackRock is capable of influencing broader market sentiment. Right? This is what we were talking about. The difference between now and then, right? We didn't have BlackRock involved. We didn't have banks involved. We didn't have government, approval or whatever. So when they make a move, it does make people kind of concerned. As You Today reported, BlackRock exactly 10 years ago made a similar deposit of 2,854 BTC valued at approximately 314 million to the exchange. Understandably, the frequency is concerning to investors who are trying to figure out if there is a pattern to the asset manager's moves, right? Like they're looking for some type of insider trading information, like, hey, if you see the rats leaving the ship, that means obviously abandoned ship. So they're looking for something like that. Traders brace for liquidations as Bitcoin eyes 112. We're at 110. Despite the concerns, Bitcoin has surged 2% in the last 24 hours. And exchanges hands at 110. the coin reached 110 resistance after climbing from a daily low of 106K, which was earlier this week. However, the trading volume has not enjoyed the same uptick, right? We were just talking about volume before we got disconnected, that the volume is not as profound as it was in the back in the day, but obviously the price goes up, so less of that Bitcoin is actually moving hands. BlackRock movements of significant volume of Bitcoin several times in October alone to Coinbase Prime appears to have slowed the interest of market participants in accumulating the coin. Perhaps they anticipate further decline in the price outlook. Interestingly, the Bitcoin market could witness massive liquidation if the price climbs further than 112.6. So we have to see what BlackRock is going to do with all those coins they deposited. But people are definitely eyeing that. While the U.S. government has been shut down, Bitcoin never shuts down. Treasury Secretary Mark's anniversary needles Democrats. I really don't care. But yeah, Bitcoin doesn't shut down. Bitcoin trades 24/7, 7 days a week, 365. You can buy Bitcoin, you can sell Bitcoin, you can trade Bitcoin, all that other good stuff. Now, if you're obviously playing with ETFs and stuff like that, you have to wait for the market opens and closes, but Bitcoin does not shut down. Bitcoin's forever growing, so on and so forth. October 31st carries special weight in crypto because it is the date that Satoshi Nakamoto released the 9-page Bitcoin white paper in 2008. The document that sketched a peer-to-peer electronic cash system and set the stage for a network that has run continuously since 2009. Supporters used the anniversary to highlight Bitcoin's always-on design and its independence from a single operator. So, October 29th, 1929, Black Tuesday. Markets crashed because people were able to buy stocks at their local bank and get involved in the market. Also, the selling material that they kind of pushed out there kind of showed, you know, the house with the white picket fence, happy kids, happy wife, happy life. And, you know, this guy bought what is it, radio company or radio something stocks, and look at him now. And so people were influenced by that, and they would, you know, leverage their house, right, refinance whatever, take whatever little money they got to put it into buy stocks. And then the 29th came, and, you know, a lot of people committed suicide because they owed a lot more money than they had put in. And they saw no way out of it. Banks collapsed, people suffered, all because of greediness and overplaying their hands. But while it's different today, same thing stands. I said this in my last clip before we got disconnected due to the power outage. Don't be too greedy and get yourself caught up. From Motley Fool, Bitcoin tumbles 4% on news of the Federal Reserve latest rate cut. Should investors be concerned? The Federal Reserve announced another 0.25 basis cut for the benchmark interest rates. While lower rates are typically a positive thing for crypto market, most tokens have actually seen significant valuation pullback since the news was announced. As of 11:30 Eastern, Bitcoin has fallen, and this was on October 30th, right? So 2 days ago. It's fallen 4%, roughly 24 hours. So you had the rate cut. But remember, we were talking about a number of things that need to happen, right? The rate cut needs to happen. There needs to be significant retail influx into the markets. And then we want to see significant inflows into the ETFs as well to kind of be that catalyst that's going to boom, 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 push Bitcoin up past a new all-time high and towards that 150K Bitcoin. But we have not seen that. We've seen rate cut, and then we saw a market pullback. As we can see here on the chart, let's zoom in. Right, so this past week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was all red. So it's unfortunate. Cryptocurrency investors have been hoping for the Federal Reserve, hoping the Federal Reserve would continue cutting rates, and the Federal Open Market Committee delivered yesterday. While some in the market may have been hoping for a half-point rate cut, so 0.5 basis points, a quarter point was broadly expected, according to the pullback for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies may be a result of buy the rumor, sell the news dynamic. Notably, the Federal Reserve, Jerome Powell, stated that another rate cut at the next meeting was not a foregone conclusion. with the federal government currently in a shutdown mode due to the lack of affirmative votes to raise the debt ceiling, the Fed is operating without some key data that could be used to inform its decision on interest rates. And maybe there's a play behind that. I don't know. I'm not going to speculate. The Fed began raising rates in 2022 in order to combat the rising inflation, right? COVID, while inflation levels have remained above 2% annual benchmark target by the central bank's authority. Recent weakness in the U.S. employment trends have caused the Fed to pivot to a policy of reducing rates. If the FOMC members vote to keep interest rates at their current levels at the next meeting, it could create significant valuation pressures for Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies. Another thing, too, let's talk about employment trends, right? Because the Fed is using that to help determine what it's going to do, whether it's going to cut rates, whatever it's going to do. Guys, AI is blowing up, right? We just saw Amazon lay off 30,000 employees because the AI technology may make it so that way it's not advantageous to have a human do that job, but instead use AI to do that job and only have a collective few humans to monitor, maintain, make sure that system is up and running. As AI continues to grow, we're going to see some jobs being replaced by AI. So that's going to cause unemployment. The thing, though, is we need to train, and this is going to be hard, right? Like, if you go grab your grandpa, can you really teach them AI? If you go grab your auntie, can you really teach them how to utilize large language models, or how to, if they're an artist, how to use, the tools available so that way they can, continue on with their art path and make money, but just have AI help them in that path. And some of them don't want to. They don't want to touch it. Some of them have real concerns about AI and the implications of it and the use cases of it. And so they don't want to use it. But I'm just watching industry after industry, job after job getting destroyed or kind of, curtailed because of the explosion of AI. And this is just going to continue to happen. So if we can cross-train some of these people, right? Like let's take my son Joseph for a second. He's a welder. He's a certified welder. And like underwater welding, those jobs they pay very well. And that requires a specific skill set. And some people that love to take risks and are okay with the danger, but still really good at doing their job. But the other welding, let's say automotive, in the automotive field, that's mostly robots right now, right? So I'm trying to explain to Joseph, I was like, your welding certifications can help you. And your eye, your hands are your most valuable thing. What if you make your mind also just as valuable? And not only can you weld, but you can help program the robots, or you can monitor their welding progress. Are those beads not being laid out right? Are they burning through? Whatever it might be. So now you got twofold. So if you can't work with your hands, or the company removes humans from the equation, but we still need to weld these components, right, for these cars or vehicles or ships or whatever it is, now you're more valuable to that company because you know how to manage the robotics and you know how to use AI tech to do your job. But you're not going to be able to do that with every single human in the world. So I have a feeling that unemployment is going to continue to rise as we move forward because of the disruption in various spaces and industries of AI or by AI. So I wonder how that's going to factor into the Fed's decision. Moving on, Solana ETFs hit 4-day win streak while Bitcoin Ether fund bleeds. Matter of fact, let's go look at Solana real quick on the chart. See what's popping. I mean, it's basically doing the same thing as Bitcoin. This past Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday was red. And if we zoom out, right, kind of same but different. Let's go back to Bitcoin real quick. So remember what this shape of this chart looks like. Yeah, kind of same thing. Little ups, little downs, but still trending down. But I know everybody was hoping that these ETFs would get significant attention, and Solana is still what, under $200. So I'm waiting to see if it actually blows up. But the ETF recorded 44.48 million in inflows Friday, marking their fourth consecutive day of positive flows. The Bitwise Solana ETF led the market with 4.99 daily gain. Bitcoin's ETF experienced 191 million in net outflows on Friday. Ether ETF posted 98.2 million in outflows, and Solana now hold a total asset exceeding 502. And you can probably see that people are flowing out, some of them, not all of them, are flowing out of Bitcoin and into Solana. I just read that Squirrel Master just said they took our jobs. Hang on, can I play it? I don't know if I can. It's South Park. They took our It took our jobs. Yeah, pretty much. But yeah, so Solana is gaining some performance with its ETFs and the inflows, but I'm not seeing anything significant. Now, usually when ETFs get started, it takes a while for them to really ramp up. So we'll see how the long term plays off. But just in this general area, and I'm not a charting expert, I would go say check out Tom Crown, K-Dub, Wendy O, a number of my colleagues. They do a really good job of charting and providing you that real analyst data that you guys probably would like. I'm more of a mining guy that just knows how to trade. But just focusing on just that area right there, get out, close that out, go to Bitcoin. It looks very similar. I mean, the hump might have moved a few days ahead for Solana, but they look very, very similar. So I'm not betting the farm on Solana just yet. I mean, I have obviously utilized Solana. We created a number of projects, Demo Cats, Coochie Coin, Cats of Crypto, Jellyfish Coin, and that takes Solana, and that takes a little bit of Solana, CLI to know, but it's not something to where I could say I'm gonna get rich if Solana hits $100,000. It's just small nuggets that I can accumulate over time. So the best thing I could say is focus on the assets that you really have strong convictions in, whether you're mining it, whether you're trading it, whether you're just DCAing it, doesn't matter, and just accumulate for the future. Right? Do you believe in the mission plan, the team, the goals that the team is doing, all that stuff? That's really what you should focus on. Because if you keep reading all the news that keeps coming out, it's just going to be up and down, ebbs and flows, whatever it is. And again, apologies for anybody that tuned in recently wondering why the show got cut in two again, and I can't bring you a reliable stream. I know. I'm super sorry. If it's not Comcast, or if it's not Windows 11 restarting my system, or if it's not the connectivity that's happening right now because the whole house or the whole neighborhood had a power outage, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry, okay? But yeah, so Solana ETF is leading market performance. Bitcoin and Ether funds experience outflows, and new crypto ETFs enter the market. Now, let's talk about that. Several new ETF products launched this week alongside Bitwise offering. Canary introduced Litecoin and Hedera ETFs to expand investor options in the space. Grayscale plans to convert its Solana Trust into an ETF. And that's what we're going to talk about. All right, so everybody's talking about or hoping for a Dogecoin ETF and XRP spot ETFs that hasn't come out yet. Litecoin and Hedera has. Now, did Litecoin experience anything significant? I know HBAR has been on one, and that's probably more of a buy the rumor, sell the news, but let's go look at HBAR. Let's see here. I mean, it's moving differently than Bitcoin and Solana. And again, buy the rumor, sell the news. I'm not sure because that buying really happened in early July. I know we had some recent upticks, like right here. Maybe this is more similar to what others are doing. But you can see that while this week Bitcoin Solana has fallen, HBAR has moved sideways and maintained that level. 20 cents right now. Let's go look at Litecoin. Let's see here. What's the biggest exchange? We'll use Bybit. Yeah, again, so Litecoin is holding stable, not above $100, but right below $100. And while this week, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, we had Red, Bitcoin, Solana, and a number of others, probably Ethereum too, you could see that Litecoin, just like Hedera, has been holding that middle ground pretty damn well. So We'll see. So Litecoin is an asset. I know a lot of people don't look at Litecoin or care about Litecoin, but Litecoin I like as an asset because as a miner, for example, mining Dutch, I convert what I mine into Litecoin and get paid that. I know it takes a minute, especially with smaller at-home machines that barely make a profit. It takes a long time to hit that payout threshold, but the fees are low. It's fast. It's proof of work. It's decentralized. It's trustworthy. We'll just see. So we got another proof of work coin that has an ETF other than Bitcoin, and that's a huge accomplishment. I'm not sure. I haven't been able to pay attention to X and all the other creators out there, but that's a huge accomplishment in my opinion. So now we have Bitcoin and Litecoin, the two only proof of work tokens that have an ETF and gain that exposure to the rest of the market via those ETFs. So we'll see how things go. I mean, if you look at the history of Litecoin, and we switch over to the monthly, we look at the history. Now, this is Bybit. Let's see. Do we have another way? Litecoin. Finance. Let's see here. They only started tracking it. Yeah, so 2013. Litecoin's been mineable for quite a while. I got on the Litecoin train in the early days. Shit. How do I get rid of this? Let's get rid of that. There we go. But you could see, Litecoin started off, pennies, cents, and, hit a high back in December 2017 of, $375, and then another high in 2021 of 412, and it has been back to those levels. But I guess some people might be hoping that the ETF could get us back to those levels, which would be significant. So if you hold, let's say 10 Litecoin from back in the day, you probably took profits in 2017, you took profits in 2021. Let's say you have, 10 Litecoin. And Litecoin gets back to, let's say, 300. That's easily $3,000. Nothing to write home about, but if you imagine people are buying tens of thousands of Litecoin, then that's a different story. Not sure. What is the supply out of Litecoin? Let's go look that up real quick. I'm pretty sure the circulating supply is almost near the end because it has a halving just like Bitcoin. So max supply 84 million, total supply 84 million, circulating supply 76 million. So we have less than 10 million Litecoin. So yeah, the circulating supply is 91% of its max supply. So eventually, just like Bitcoin, if demand climbs and supply goes down, you're going to have price go up. But super excited for Litecoin being the other proof of work coin to have an ETF. Congratulations to a lot of the OGs and stuff like that. We'll see how it turns out. The price hasn't really appreciated much from it, but we'll see how things turn out. Moving on, while Canon 4.5 megawatt deal marks Japan's entry into clean crypto mining. Now, 4.5 megawatt, that's big. That's like BBT's 5 containers, right? 5 containers of mining rigs. That's decent, right? It's small comparatively to the big boys, but that's decent, and it's a start. And Japan is showing interest in Bitcoin mining, right? And Canon's, helping them out with the hydro-cooled rigs to balance renewable energy on grid. If the government's behind it or a government-affiliated company's behind it, they can use and curtail to be like, hey, all right, well, we're not using the full power that we're putting out right now. We could turn these rigs on. Oh, hey, we need full power. Turn these rigs off. Just like that. Easy curtailment, management, foreman, whatever it might be. But yeah, Japan becomes the 11th country globally to involve state resources into Bitcoin mining. State resources. And unfortunately, while Japan's making waves in that direction, New Hampshire crypto mining bill delayed after strong public opposition. Right? And you got to understand, and I understand both sides, but I'm not gonna play devil's advocate here. If I want to open up a farm and it's in a rural area but there's a few houses out there, right? And they're growing crops, they're raising cattle, they're doing whatever they do up there in New Hampshire. And this is a huge disruption, sound wise, heat wise, to the surrounding areas for crops, livestock, whatever. If it's not in a good area, it's going to get pushback. But if it is in a good area, you know, obviously you got to consider native land. Are we destroying the environment? Are we causing a species to die off by building this data center / farm? You know, all of these things come into effect, and you know, I'm sure they'll probably get it passed, but there is some environmental issues and noise concerns led by the delay of HB 639. Now, this is just New Hampshire. Why is this important? Because we're going to see this in different states. We're going to see this in different states, and it comes down to the company that's wanting to build their facility to ensure, you know, they're paying attention to all those factors, environmental conserves, you know, indigenous species nearby, their land, if it's sacred, if it's holy, you know, the use of power, how is the use of power going to affect the local residents? You know, all of that comes into effect. So we got some delays in New Hampshire, but we got some positive signals with Japan having a, you know, kind of state-sponsored mining facility. Only 4.5 megawatts, but we'll see more and more as they continue to build up. Now, I am going to lead you guys into Red Panda Mining, who's going to be going live here in a little bit. I am sorry once again for the service interruption. And we talked about Zcash recently. You know, if you're going and hunting down some Zcash machines to mine Zcash, and you're spending a house to get it, I would have urged you never to do that. But if you already had machines or some of these legacy machines that you could spin back up, cool. But I know that some OGs hung on to some Zcash and they're happy with the way the market. It's not nowhere near as high as it used to be, but you know, for example, the Bitmain Antminer Z15 Pro is $36 a day. Z15, $18 a day, right? And you got to find these machines, right? Like if you got a Z15, some of our colleagues that are watching right now actually have a Zcash machine, right? So we got to go to Woo Miner, in stock, use. I can add the cart, $2,100, pre-order, $1,250. So significant difference, right? But then you buy that. ROI 69 days at $1,250, but if you buy it at the 2021, that's obviously going to be a couple hundred days before you break even. Maybe you can find it on eBay. There are some on eBay. They're probably getting sold out real quick, but you got to account for, you know, is Zcash going to continue this trajectory? That's the question. Is Zcash going to continue this trajectory? It is a risk you need to understand, and if you want to take it, take it. But let's see what Red Panda Mining has for you. Zcash Equihash, massive profit now, for now. Exactly right, for now. Can it sustain it? Right, if we look at Zcash on the chart, before I let you go over to Red Panda Mining, I will redirect you as soon as I'm done. And again, my apologies for the interruption. I mean, look at that. Look at that. On the monthly, look at that. Just straight up. All right, so somebody obviously invested and bought a shit ton of Zcash because they see something we don't. So October, somebody did a big buy. September, somebody did a big buy. But October is where somebody did a big buy and everybody else was like, why are they buying? I should buy. And then we here have an entire month from October 1st all the way to now where Zcash has done nothing but gone up. So, too late on Zcash, says Techman. If you're going to go fight to try to find one of these machines, I'm just saying, like, be careful, right? And then on top of that, if you do buy secondhand, what happens if that machine doesn't work, or the eBay lister is scamming you and it's the shell of the machine and doesn't have any control boards or anything in it? Like, just be careful. All right, so we got a Zcash Z15. It's bid, not buy now. It's at $22.75. When again, you could buy it from Woo for cheaper than that. It will be used. This one's pretty dirty. You're gonna need a power supply. Some of these don't come with power supplies. This one's got bid. It's at 2050. Somebody's got some Z9 minis, which if we go back to ASIC miner value and we go Z9 mini is making 43 cents a day, 10 kilohash, 300 watts, and they're selling it for 150, located in the US, and they say specifically not Z15. So you could get lucky on eBay, you could get screwed on eBay, you could go find one of these manufacturers that has some of the used machines and go from there. But just be careful. I urge caution. I'll sell my Z15 for 5K, says Automatic Beats. But all right, ladies and gentlemen, is Red Panda Mining not live yet? All right, let's give them a little bit longer. Let's mute this site. Yeah, just be careful. I really do believe that November and December are going to be green months. If anything, maybe more November than December or vice versa. But nobody can tell you the future. So just be careful. Dollar cost average. Be smart and take care of yourself. And let me know. If there's really no point in me doing this show anymore, since I'm not putting out regular videos anymore, let me know. Like, you guys already have all the content creators you could want out there, because I've been so busy with personal stuff. I don't know. We'll see. I don't want to do the show and you guys just show up for pity. Like, I don't want you guys watching the show out of pity. I want you guys watching the show because you want to watch it. So I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but let me know. DM me, X, Discord, whatever. Let me know your personal thoughts, but I'll let you guys go over to Red Panda here as soon as he gets ready. Plus, I can't give you guys a reliable stream, so I can understand why nobody's watching, or a few of you are watching. It's because I'm either disconnected because of the internet, I'm disconnected because of Windows 11, I'm disconnected because of power outage. It's always something. All right, Red Panda, where are you at? But I said everything I needed to say, so. All right, I'm just going to drop the stream. Red Panda's taking too long. I'm going to go get some stuff done. Yeah, I'll see y'all later. Take care. Well, a lot of things are going on in my life, so my give a fuck is broken. Squirrel Master. But I'm still building for the future, regardless.